Imagine this. A school bell rings, echoing through empty hallways. No footsteps rush in. No voices fill the air. No laughter echoes from classrooms. No children gather on the playground. This is happening right now, in cities you think are still growing. This is the first place cities change, long before rents, jobs, or headlines do. Right now, this just looks like an education issue. It isn't. I'll come back to that. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you'll see why this pattern decides which cities adapt and which quietly hollow out. Watch closely. The numbers don't lie. From the National Center for Education Statistics. Fall 2019, 50.8 million students in public schools nationwide. That was the pre-pandemic peak. A high point built slowly over years, with regional differences playing out quietly in the background. Then the drop began. Fall 2020, down sharply to around 49.4 million. Many attributed it to immediate disruptions and uncertainties. Remote learning challenges and health concerns dominating the conversation at the time. But the pattern persisted beyond those early months. Fall 2021, still hovering low with incomplete recovery in most places. Fall 2022, a small uptick to 49.6 million. Fall 2023, back to 49.5 million. A total loss of over 1.3 million students since 2019. That's 2.5% gone. Quietly removed from the system. Lower grades hit hardest. Pre-K through grade 8, down 4.5% since 2019. Around 33.9 million in recent counts. High school somewhat steadier with smaller fluctuations overall. But projections extend the trend forward consistently. By fall 2031, another 5% decline overall, down to about 46.9 million students. Pre-K 8 falling to 32.2 million. Grades 9, 12 to 14.7 million. Millions fewer children in those buildings. Fewer daily routines shaped there. Fewer interactions in hallways and cafeterias. Fewer futures launching from those spaces. Fewer teachers planning for full classes. On its own, this number doesn't look alarming. What it triggers does. We'll get there. Urban districts feel it first. And sharpest. Los Angeles Unified, down over 100,000 students. 27% drop in recent years. Enrollment trends continuing downward steadily without clear reversal. Chicago, below 320,000 now. Drops persisting into 2025, with ongoing adjustments and local debates heating up. New York City, over 100,000 lost. Stabilizing slowly, but still markedly lower than peaks in many boroughs and neighborhoods. Philadelphia, consistent declines, with consolidation discussions ongoing and community pushback growing stronger. San Francisco, similar trajectories amid leadership changes and policy debates intensifying over time. Detroit, Seattle, Boston, Memphis, Denver, Columbus. The patterns repeat across major systems. Declines ranging from 10 to 20% or more in many cases. Classrooms running at partial capacity. Playgrounds quieter than before. Budgets facing sustained, long-term pressure from these shifts. School closures accelerating noticeably. 2024, 2025, dozens of districts consolidating buildings. Equity concerns rising prominently across reports and discussions. Closures hitting minority and low-income areas hardest. Communities disrupted in real, tangible ways. Longer travels for remaining students. Neighborhood dynamics shifting noticeably and persistently. Why these cities in particular? The reasons build layer by layer. None of this is sudden. First, birth rates falling gradually. U.S. fertility around 1.6. Below replacement. Fewer kids entering kindergarten year after year. The effect lags, but it compounds steadily. That's why it's harder to notice at first. Second, family migration patterns shifting. Outflows from high-cost cores. Sunbelt suburbs gaining families noticeably. Smaller towns attracting more steadily. Rural areas seeing inflows too. Choices driven by affordability, space, and perceived opportunities. Third, school choice options exploding in availability. Charters expanding steadily across states. Private schools seeing upticks post-pandemic in certain regions. Homeschooling growing significantly overall, from around 3% pre-pandemic to estimates of 6–7% nationally in recent years. Over 3.7 million children educated at home now. Growth holding strong and continuing. And that's underestimated in many analyses. Fourth, immigration flows slowing in pace. Fewer newcomer families arriving and enrolling children consistently. Districts that once relied on this for growth now adjusting downward gradually. Fifth, pandemic effects lingering longer than expected. Some families opting out permanently from traditional systems. Trust dynamics changed in places over time. Remote experiences influencing long-term choices for many households. Sixth, broader economic pressures mounting gradually. Rising housing costs in urban areas over years. Insurance premium increases adding to burdens. Overall affordability challenges prompting recalculations. Families weighing stays versus moves more carefully and deliberately. This is where most explanations stop, and where the real story actually starts. Remember the empty classrooms? This is where they start reshaping entire cities. Empty schools carry higher costs per remaining student. Maintenance expenses don't scale down proportionally. Staffing requirements persist despite lower numbers. Heating, utilities, upkeep continue regardless, making under-enrolled buildings inefficient over time. Closures become inevitable responses in many cases, but with broader, lasting impacts on communities. Neighborhood anchors fade gradually. Schools as community centers lost one by one. Local gathering points diminished noticeably. Longer bus rides or walks for children daily. Disruptions to daily family routines accumulating steadily. Equity gaps widening in affected areas. Often lower-income communities bearing the brunt disproportionately. Social fabrics straining in subtle ways. By this point, the pattern is already clear. Fewer school-age families in a district leads to thinner overall demographics slowly. Younger population segments shrinking gradually over years. Property tax bases coming under strain progressively. Many cities fund significant portions of services through property taxes, including education itself as a major line item. With fewer households or slower appreciation in values, revenue growth slows noticeably, or plateaus in some districts. Budgets for core services feel the pinch over time. Police departments adjusting resources accordingly. Fire and emergency response facing constraints. Parks maintenance deferred in places. Road repairs postponed repeatedly. Infrastructure projects delayed or scaled back significantly. And commercial real estate enters the equation deeply. Fewer resident families mean reduced daily foot traffic consistently. Local retail seeing softer demand over periods. Office spaces with less surrounding activity daily. Vacancy rates ticking upwards steadily. Property values in commercial segments softening gradually, further reducing tax inflows over time, creating a quiet feedback loop, self-reinforcing over time. Subtle at first, more pronounced later as it builds and compounds. This silent emptying is not inevitable. Not every city follows the same trajectory blindly. Some are already adapting thoughtfully and proactively, investing in specialized magnet programs to differentiate offerings, drawing families with unique educational opportunities, pursuing affordable housing initiatives strategically, to stabilize or attract young households intentionally, implementing smaller class sizes where possible and feasible, enhancing resource allocation in remaining schools effectively, repurposing closed buildings creatively and usefully, as community centers or early childhood facilities, forming stronger partnerships with charter options collaboratively, developing targeted family retention strategies based on data, data-driven policies to counter outflows methodically, building resilience for the long term. Others observe the trends, wait for more obvious signs, allow thinning to continue unchecked in the meantime. The question is not whether the pattern exists. The data confirms it clearly and consistently. It's which cities notice it early, interpret the signals accurately and timely, act with intention and foresight, because the places that notice this first won't be the ones that are surprised later. Watch closely.